Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Alfred Addis. This is Financial Survival, brought to you by Discount Gold and Silver at 1-800-375-4188 for all your gold and silver needs. Our guest today is Mr. Bob Chapman, economist. Before we get to Bob, give you the Melody is bye-bye. She's taking a little R&R, and so I'll be sitting in for Melody for a couple of days here. And first thing we're going to do, as usual, is give you some information on what's happening on some of the markets right now. Gold is up $4.10 today to $39.90. Silver's up 14 cents to $14.37. Platinum is down $13 to $1,213. Palladium is up $1 to $247. And the Dow Jones is up 25.62 to 8,530. We have the Nasdaq is up 1440 to 1,810. New York Stock Exchange is down 28.97 to 5,857. And let's see, what else? We got crude oil is up 43 cents to $70.90. Well, the world is continuing to turn. Prices are going up, prices are going down. Let's start with Bob Chapman. Melody, I believe, if I understand correctly, Melody turns the first half of the program over to you, Bob. Are you there?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Then we'll turn the first half over to whoever is there. Somebody's there. I guess you may have some questions from some of the listeners that you respond to in the first half of the program. Is that true?
Yeah. I've been trying to find them, and I did.
All right.
I did. And I usually give some commentary on the market as well.
That's fine.
Let me get together here.
If you want to give the commentary first, that's fine with me.
Sure. I think I'll give you an update in the market. Market was off on the day 7 points, but it had been off about 50 earlier, and miraculously in the last hour they came back again as usual. And so that'll make the people on Wall Street happy.
Well, it's important. That's part of our job, to keep the people on Wall Street happy. I think that's part of our job, isn't it, as Americans?
Oh, yeah. That's very important. So they get richer and keep on looting the American public.
I agree.
And S&P was down about 15. Gold was up 770 in the day, and silver 18 cents. That's a pretty good close, but the gold shares, the producers, weren't that strong. They were up, but nothing exciting. So I think the pros are still undecided whether we've hit a bottom or not. We get another update tomorrow and the following day. They'll come in like a thundering herd. And one of the indications to me that we may have bottomed is I think that there was a fair amount of selling by specs, and the speculators are usually, and these are pros, are usually wrong in facing down the U.S. government and the commercials on COMEX. And so I think we'll find out here in the next 2 days where we're headed and how quickly. And it looks okay. Nothing to write home about. If the gold shares had been up, say, a half a point or a point today, I would have felt better about it. Although this is the August market now that we're quoting in gold, as opposed to the spot market, which Alfred just gave you. The interest rates on the 2-year, they're down to 1.15%, and the 10s were around 362, and I think that's probably about as far as it's going to go on the low side, on the yield side. and they've done that in order to bring down mortgage rates next week. Mortgage rates were, I just looked at them, I can't remember what they are. I think they were 5.45 on a 30-year fix, so that'll bring it down about 3/8 of a point. So that'll take it down to maybe 5.20, with the rates on the 10s continue to stay there. But it's not going to make any difference. It's not low enough to make things happen positively in that market. So I think the Federal Reserve is chasing their tails. They can't keep these rates down. There's too many people selling the dollar. And do you have the USDX today, Alfred?
Yeah, I just should have given that, and I didn't. But let me just see. As of, this is probably about 15 minutes old, but 80.16, down 0.65 for the day.
Well, that means that the dollar had to have faded, and it had to have been a rally. It's tried it 3 or 4 times to break back above 81, unsuccessfully thus far. The 10 was 367, not 362, on the yield on the 10-year note. Getting back to the currencies, if we break down through 78.5 approximately, we're going fairly quickly down to 71.18. And if that doesn't happen now, it's going to happen before the end of October, that's for sure. But if it happens now and goes through the summer, hovering above that 71.18, they'll blast it in September, October. And it should drop back to maybe 60 to 65, something like that. And so it's a very, very difficult road for the dollar now. You've got the government buying Treasury paper, buying agency paper, which is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, etc. And you've also got the government buying $1.5 trillion worth of toxic garbage from the banks. And so altogether that's $2.2 trillion that we know that they're going to buy by the end of September, which is the end of the fiscal year. And that is monetized totally. It's horrific. And on the other side, the banks, which are selling toxic waste, as it's called, collateralized debt obligations, to the Fed, is taking the money that the Fed gives them in turn for them and buying treasuries. So it's like a circle, a daisy chain. And all of that is monetized, highly, highly inflationary.
Well, when they set up a circle, I buy from you, you buy from somebody else, and I sell back to that third guy. You put that circle together, you can create the illusion of a price. If everyone within that circle agrees, you work this properly, no one necessarily takes a loss on this, and you can create the illusion. You can create a market if you're big enough to do it, or at least I believe you can. Is that sensible, plausible, and might it be happening right now?
Happens 24/7. It's the U.S. government.
I understand. That's
why it's so important to get rid of the Fed, because they're the ones who are engineering this thing, and they're executing orders, but most of the orders are being executed by the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which is the subsidiary of the Treasury Department, and they're rigging the markets. And you just explained it. And the public doesn't understand that. So we've got to stop them from doing that. And yes, the system's going to collapse. It's going to collapse anyway. Let's do it on our terms. Let's get rid of the Fed, get rid of all those crooks, take away insider information from Wall Street and banking, stop the revolving door between Wall Street and banking and the Treasury Department and other branches of government. Let's put an end to it. How that would be crafted remains to be seen, but that's what's got to be done. because the American people get robbed over and over and over and over. And it's been going on since 1913.
I think one thing about it, though, is we've got the government buying its own trash right now. And that not only interests me, that amuses me. They're doing it in order to maintain the illusion that the trash has value. Or at least that's the way I look at it. And in the end, this just, it makes me laugh. I know when we get to the crisis, no one's going to be laughing, including me. But for the moment, I'm sitting there thinking the government is having to buy its own garbage. All right? When this stuff hits the fan, the government is going to be taking a very serious loss.